Hey, where's John Kortenhoven, by the way? Hey, John, if you're out there somewhere, haven't heard or seen you in a long time. Remember Koinonia group at Bethany CRC, and Jim Tanis and Doug Forker painting the house, the Zootaway house. And then apparently you found out that I'm not a very good person. Won't talk to me anymore or what? I'm a good person. I'm forgiven. Oh, it's not open. I'm a forgiven person. What about you? Are you forgiven? Are you living by grace or by law? John, we got to come together right now. It's an important time in history. Let bygones be bygones. Don't be judging people. I never said I was perfect. Don't claim to be. I did good in school, though. I did good in college, graduated with honors. I know that's important to you. You went to Calvin, so did I. I went to graduate school. I ended up, after all was said and done, going to seminary and becoming a pastor formally, as well as a street evangelist, starting my own ministry. You got to set aside your pretentiousness about being perfect by law. That's not gonna get you anywhere. Except for maybe a house, material things. Won't get you to heaven though. We need to come together as Christian Reformed community members, Bellflower and Valley Christian. You went to Valley, I didn't, but my grandfather started Valley back in the 30s. Did you know that? And how about Ron Vander Vecht? How's he doing? Is he still working for the Lakewood Police, Bellflower unit? I remember going out to the driving range with him. I mean, not the shooting range. We went with a group. I think, were you with us on that? At the Koinonia outing, one of them. And also you came up to Big Bear, went skiing with us at the Schuler, and stayed at the Schuler cabin, or the Crystal Cathedral cabin, the Crystal Cabin. We had some good times. You picked me up from the airport once, and I called. That was a great, no, not airport, but my uncle's house in Manhattan Beach, after they picked me up from the airport. And by the way, what happened to Joel Slink? I heard they got divorced. Is he still around here? Did he go back to California? I mean, Michigan. You go back to Michigan? He was a different kind of person as well. And so I'd like to hear from you. We got to come together as a band of brothers, as they say, Christian brothers, real brothers in Christ. I've repented of my sins. I came out of college still I did good. I wasn't a cheater. I wasn't a liar in college, but I was kind of a sneaky, mischievous kind of person with the friends I grew up there in Grand Rapids. As you know, you went to Calvin. A lot of us who grew up in Grand Rapids, which is me, we didn't move to California until I was a senior in high school, so it doesn't really count of me being a Californian. My brother, he was in 7th grade at the time, so he has more California roots, I guess. He can claim both, basically, because he was in that age, 6th, 7th grade. I was a senior in high school. And I didn't even stay there. I went back to Grand Rapids. And as you know, because you went to Calvin from Valley, the Grand Rapids kids Christian high kids hang together when we come to Calvin, because we know each other. We've known each other all our lives, right? And so because we've known each other, not all of the Christian high kids who went on to Calvin, we're still hanging around with some of them. I had a few friends who went on to the junior college, you know, and we get a little mischievous because we've known each other all our lives, played sports together, socialized together, went to parties together and things like that. You know, so we got mischievous. Not bad, not really in a bad way, but, you know, a little trouble here and there maybe. Suppose you never had any of that. Well, I mean, I was here for a summer in '84 as a senior, going into my senior year, and I did hang around with a few Valley kids, including Kirk Templeman, Jeff Schwieger, and a few others. And I know they're not perfect. They're mischievous as well. Later on, Kurt DeGroat, he's not perfect. He's mischievous. So let's not hold each other up against the wall for mischievous behavior. You know, wink in the eye. Not good stuff. I've put that stuff behind me basically, but it's not really stuff that I need to be utterly ashamed of. I didn't commit any felonies. Certainly, God's not holding it against me. I've repented, confessed. He's forgiven me. We're all forgiven because of that. Because of God's gift. Jesus Christ, who died on the cross for us. So John, wherever you are, and Doug too, Doug Borchter, this message is about the same for the two of you. Although a little different. I think John went on and finished at Calvin. I think Doug did a year there and then came back and never looked back. Wherever the two of you are, I know you stayed together, lived together for a year or so. Maybe you still are. I don't know what the situation is. I'd like to hear from you sometime. Send me a message here on YouTube or email or write a letter to my family house in Bellflower. You know the address, right? Same house, Chicago Avenue. Let me know how you are. I'd like to get together, have a reunion. Koinonia reunion. Jim Tanis too, and Joel Hogan, and, well, not Jim Zudaway, rest in peace. By the way, I mean, I didn't see it for those. I didn't see it after Koinonia. I don't think I saw much any of you after '91, really. I went down to Costa Rica, then I came back. And headed back to Grand Rapids. I was intending to go to seminary at the time. Then Jim Zudaway was there, and he invited me to stay in a house there. He had already rented out a house, so I rented a room there. And I just wasn't happy at the seminary after a quarter, and I switched back over to the college and got my teaching degree. 2 years in the education English. Got my second bachelor's degree. And then came to Wyoming, went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, spent actually 2 summers there. My aunt has a house there. Nice, you might know about Jackson, the Yellowstone area, the Grand Tetons, beautiful in the summer, great skiing in the winter. Spent a couple summers there, and then when I was in there the second summer, Jim Zudaway, of all people, called me. From California, from Coachella, now more famous for its music festival, but at that time that hadn't even begun. This was '94, summer of '94, and I said, hey, we have a teaching job here at the school I'm teaching at. He had gotten his master's degree in teaching and then got a job teaching at a Coachella Valley High School. So I said, well, why not? I was actually at that time just about a few weeks away from taking a job as a missionary teacher in Hungary. I hadn't been looking for a public school job, really. I was into being a missionary, Christian teacher, evangelical missionary teacher. But I said, oh, I'll check it out, because I had student loans, and I thought I might be able to pay them off quicker, and then do more of what I felt called towards. So I drove out there and talked to the principal there, a white guy who was a retired Air Force commander of some sort. What was his name? I can't remember his name now. But he hired me, but he didn't tell me that he was leaving. He didn't tell me he was retiring himself. So I was like maybe the last teacher he hired, and I didn't know a new principal was coming. And that would have been crucial information because, you know, you want to work for somebody who hired you, who likes you, who thinks wants you to do well. But, in fact, a new principal came in named Alex Franco. He's a Latino, Hispanic fellow. He actually had graduated from this school himself many years ago and then got involved in public education. This was his first principal job. But I took the job, started teaching English there, mostly Latino students in the class. And I was not treated very well by this principal. I applied for coaching jobs. I wanted to do more than just teach, but I didn't get any coaching jobs. And he started hiring people he knew from his childhood, you know, trying to build up a base of friends there, working with and for him. Zudoy actually left after that. He had been there for a year, and this was the end of his second year. I think, I'm not sure what happened, but he left. And then after my second year there, I left as well and decided to finally really go full 100% to my calling. I went to seminary at Calvin for a year, and then transferred to Fuller, came back out here to Pasadena, and then I stayed here for several years and started my own ministry, Mustard Seed Ministries, started doing evangelism. I'd already done some summer mission work in the Philippines. Also, partly what I did in Costa Rica was mission disaster relief, and then I stayed there for teaching. And so I just kind of built on that and my Christian faith and my education. And the rest, as they say, is history. And I still, I go to a lot of different churches. You know, I was involved at the Cathedral for a while, but then, you know, what happened there. There's still a congregation at a smaller location down the street from Cathedral. And I actually do attend Catholic churches as well as many different Protestant and Orthodox churches. And I have a organization I call Pro-Cathodox. Online. I'll try to put a link to it on this YouTube message. Let's try to do more for the unification of all Christians who recite the Nicene Creed, which includes Christians, which includes Protestants, often just referred to as Christians, and Catholics and Orthodox. And I still stay in touch with the Christian Reformed Church, and I have a blog dedicated to the CRC, also the Valley Christian. I still follow what's going on there. I have a blog dedicated to Valley Christian, and even a blog for Bellflower, beautiful Bellflower, where my grandfather came in 1936. Unbelievable. I still stay in touch with my Grand Rapids roots. I have a Grand Rapids blog. I go back there every now and then. My parents still go back there once or twice a year. I still have a brother and sister there in Michigan. My younger brother is here in Southern Cal. He's in Redlands. And that's about all I have for now. Just hope to hear from you, and hope all is well for you, too. Continue to keep you and Doug and all the Koinonia group in my thoughts and prayers. Wherever you are, if you see any of them, you know, say hello for me. Greetings, and let's get united. Let's have a reunion one of these days. All right, God bless you and be with you forever. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.